The Natural History of Fear, the 54th main range Doctor Who Big Finish release, first released in 4 parts across CD and download on the 2nd of March 2004, and written by Jim Mortimer. This may end up being one of my shorter reviews, but this story, for lack of a better term, is rather cerebral. It's weird to think about, and the story doesn't actually focus that much on the Doctor, Charlie, and Keris. But at the same time it does, and it's a really weird one to think about. So on the planet Baltrusoy in the Divergent universe, we focus pretty much on a day in the life in Light City. Light City being a kind of big corporation-run city where we see various people have various jobs, including nurses, editors, and the like. But the thing about Light City is that it's a city that's run very much by the kind of corporations, and they say you're not allowed to ask questions, and you're not allowed to pretty much do anything to kind of show your freedom, except for one day a year that they call Jubilee Day, when you can break all the rules and just have a day to ask questions and find things out and be curious and the like. But the rest of the year you kind of have to fit into these society-built roles. Now, it's a weird one to think about because, as I said, you've got these characters that are voiced by the likes of Paul McGann, India Fisher, and Conrad Westmus. We're looking at mainly a nurse voiced by Fisher, who, well, in this particular role, India Fisher voices a female prole, a nurse, a conscience, and a censor. But the thing about this particular city is that if you grow to have too many of these kind of big questions or stepping outside the norm, then you effectively get sent away on a vacation and then are kind of implanted with new memories, new consciousness. Your mind is effectively wiped clean, and then you're brought back to get fit back into society. But then throughout a day we see how these things kind of break down and how India Fisher's characters may be involved with some kind of revolution. And now the editor of Light City is a man voiced by Paul McGann. He is the editor, and he looks to be rather sinister. He seems to be kind of a villain, but then it gets confusing as he reveals, partway through to one of Conrad Westmus's characters, that he actually wants to help the revolution. Like, he actually wants them to question things. But then it gets rather complicated. I mean, Paul McGann, India Fisher, and Conrad Westmus aren't the only ones here. You've also got other characters as characters in the city, voiced by the likes of Jeff Searle, Alison Sterling, Sean Carlson, Wick Taylor, Jane Hills, and Ben Summers. But then we kind of watch the editor kind of have to deal with this female character voiced by India Fisher and him trying to kind of maintain control of Light City as it slowly breaks down. But then you do go through a period of thinking, okay, maybe this is a story where the Doctor, Charlie, and Keris, they've been implanted with new memories, and then throughout the story you see those memories gradually break down as they come to realise who they truly are. But then it's only by the end of the story that you realise you haven't actually been listening to the Doctor, Charlie, or Keris at all. Because the editor is kind of brought back to Light City, and the kind of new conscience, voiced by Fisher, tells him, no, he's not the Doctor. I mean, the editor believes he is the Doctor, and he's gone through all this time, he has to be the Doctor, but the conscience tells him, no, you're not the Doctor. The Doctor, Charlie, and Keris, they visited some time ago, but they're gone now. And it is revealed early on that the Doctor, Keris, and Charlie did visit Light City briefly, but in order to save Charlie and Keris, the Doctor agreed to something like a mind imprint to kind of give the citizens of Light City a new kind of mental base, which he agreed to do, but then they left. And the thing that ultimately breaks the story and shows that you haven't been listening to the Doctor, Charlie, or Keris throughout is when the conscience says to the editor, Yeah, except did you see the Doctor and Charlie? They only had 2 legs. They had 2 arms, 2 legs. How many do you have? 8. And that's where the story kind of breaks down as Jubilee Day starts once again, or at least it's supposed to start, and people essentially descend into riots. Like while the while throughout the story it is thought that people shouldn't ask questions, here they start questioning the system and whether it does truly work. I mean, they have heard of stories of the Doctor and his companions before, thanks to infotainment, but finally people are rebelling and kind of asking questions that before they were too afraid to ask, and now the corporation doesn't want them to know. But honestly, this is a weird story, but at the same time, it's one I think you should listen to. Listen to it for yourself, make your own decisions on it. Ask your own questions, because ultimately, questions are a good thing. Questions cause you to look at the world around you and ask, how is it different? How can it be better? Why are things the way they are? Ask your question and see for yourself. Anyway, until next time, see ya.